Left tackle should be the priority for the New England Patriots, but can a vertical threat from the SEC really transform their offense? Stick around. It's Mock Draft Monday right here on the Locked On Patriots podcast.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello to all of you Foxborough faithful. Thank you once again for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage. I'm your host, Mike Debate. I cover your New England Patriots for the Locked On Podcast Network, so reach out to me. Let me know what's on your mind on X at MDABATENFL. You can catch me over where the skies are blue on Blue Sky at MDABATENFL.bsky.social. And of course, if you're looking to show some love to Locked On Patriots social media style, please follow our account there as well at LO_Patriots. And Pats fans, today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Pats fans, we are approximately 1 month away from the start of the 2025 NFL Draft. Your New England Patriots are looking to fill some voids on the roster with their 9 selections, and that includes the number 4 overall pick in the first round. And what makes draft season truly great, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, is that from now until the draft, everyone out there that calls themselves a football fan can be an armchair GM. Every Pats fan, every NFL fan, every single media analyst / expert out there has the chance to predict which players will end up wearing their favorite team's jersey. And here's a little secret that I'm not afraid to tell you. That's right, you, all of you out there. You have as good a chance of being right as do the talking heads that you're used to seeing on YouTube or used to listening to on your listening device on podcasts just like this. So here on Locked On Patriots, we're continuing the tradition that was built on this very network, right on these very airwaves by my good friend and predecessor, Mark Schofield. We're bringing you Mock Draft Monday. And once again today on the pod, 3 segments, 3 intriguing mock drafts with a heavy focus on left tackle for your New England Patriots. And of course, if we're talking big round men up front, who else could we welcome but the man who is in the midst of his 6th draft cycle, breaking down these very drafts with me here on these airwaves. From this day forth, I dub you the monster of Mock Draft Monday, the legendary Thomas Murphy. Thank you for coming to me in friendship today, Don Murph.
Thanks for having me, Michael. It wouldn't be Monday without mock drafts, man. We wait for this all year long. Michael
That's
and
true.
I get together every Monday for coffee with you folks, and but no, this time of year is the most wonderful time of the year. And Michael's absolutely right, man. You guys have every chance of getting this down and doing it right. And I respect the hell out of you because you put the work in.
You do.
You know, you're not just out there, firing dart guns at boards, like certain people, You guys put the work in. You go out and you watch the film. You know who's going to fit in here, who isn't, who's rising, who's falling, and you do a fantastic job. And we couldn't do this without you, literally. But we wouldn't want to do this without you, especially our everydayers. And we've got 3 everydayers that Mike chose to focus on this week, and you're going to love them.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely going to love them because we age ourselves on this pod regularly. Let's face it. Much of the time, it's at the expense of our own egos. But you know what? We do it all for the show. We do it all for the network. And we do it all for our everydayers, most importantly. And some of our everydayers out there, not everyone listening to this pod right now, but some of us will remember when ABC brought us a little show called Battle of the Network Stars. You remember Battle of the Network Stars?
Yeah.
We're talking late 70s. That's a little before my time, but the mid 80s, around my wheelhouse. Stars like William Shatner, Heather Thomas.
Yep.
I think that one speaks for itself.
Good Twitter buddy, Heather Thomas.
Absolutely. Yep. And of course, all anchored. What else? If it's ABC, it's got to be anchored by the late, great Howard Cosell.
Right.
And Howard had a way of being able to captivate you and just bring you in. he would be telling you why this was about to become the greatest spectacle of pseudo-athletic competition you have ever experienced. He made you believe that what you were about to see was true athletic history. In reality, it was really the top TV stars that were competing in athletic competition. So here on Locked On Patriots, we're going to take a page out of that concept today. We're going to apply it to Mock Draft Monday. And these 3 mock drafts that we've chosen are some of our greatest mock draft submitters of all time. Guys that have been with us right from the start here on Locked On Patriots with Mock Draft Monday. Jason Sullivan, Andrew Caroway, and of course, the show himself, the legendary LJ. It's a battle of the Locked On Patriots mock draft all-stars here today, Murph. So let's get right into it. And we're going to start with one of our long-timers, one of our everydayers, our good buddy Jason Sullivan. And Jason has submitted, I think, again, another stellar draft here.
Right.
He has the Patriots trading out of the number 4 overall pick, and the Pats land at number 15. Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle out of Texas. Murph, I know you're going to have some thoughts on Kelvin. You've described why you believe he is the pick, but
Right.
I'm going to give you a chance to pontificate a little bit on why trading down to 15 could be the steal of the century if the Patriots can pull this off the way Jason has done here. We'll take a look at Jason's entire haul for the benefit of those listening to the podcast, not viewing it. At number 46, the Patriots' next choice, Jaden Higgins, wide receiver out of Iowa State. Once again, becoming a rapid draft crush of mine. The more I see Jaden and the more I look at him in game situations, really like what this kid could do for the Patriots offense. At number 56, the Patriots taking defensive tackle out of Michigan, Kenneth Grant. Murph, I know you love to see the Michigan Wolverines taken. I like this pick, and I like the value here. Edge rusher Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State, a typical Mike Vrabel hire right here. This is a Vrabel-esque pick at number 62. Moving right along to 76, Kevin Winston Jr., the safety out of Penn State. At number 77, Patriots taking a running back to give Ramondre some help in that backfield, and Antonio Gibson as well. Jadon Blue out of Texas. Number 106, Elijah Arroyo, tight end out of Miami.
Yeah.
I love this. I don't know if he's going to be around at number 106, but I love the ingenuity here, Jason. And, of course, at number 144, cornerback out of Oregon, Jabbar Muhammad, someone who, again, continues to rise up several draft boards. So you look at this haul, Murph, and it's hard to argue that Jason has filled all the holes and filled them adequately with some real interesting talent. But I want to get back to Banks for a second because I know you are a big proponent of this move. You said you would go as high as number 4 to get Kelvin Banks in New England. If you can pull off a haul like this, and I'm not saying exactly like Jason did because number 15 is a phenomenal value here, but if you can trade down a little bit and pick up someone like Kelvin Banks and maybe additionally more draft capital either this year or next, how big of a move is that for the New England Patriots?
It's humongous, man. It's the Lord humongous. We're out here in the wasteland, and he brings me Kelvin Banks. Banks is the best pure pass blocker in this draft. You can talk about size. You can talk about arm length. You can talk to the fact that he's too short. He's not too short. Stop it. All right, this is not a Lilliputian. This is a very giant man, and that's priority number 1. Did we all forget what happened last year? This was the worst offensive line in football. Okay, this has to be addressed early. It has to be addressed often, and our man did that. And our man, he did that. It was fantastic the way that he worked this board. He brought these guys on. I think it's a fantastic draft, and Banks is the man. And to be able to pick up guys like Jaden Higgins, Kenneth Grant, Jack Sawyer. I'm not seeing how the trade went down. The trades went down here, but it was he got. There's just so much talent in this draft, all the way back down to Jaden Blue at 77. Wow. Wow. But Banks is the man. I have every year I focus on one aspect of the offensive line, or in years past, please go get me a scat back, somebody that can catch the ball out of the backfield. But this year, It's really been Banks, and I've been beating this drum and beating this drum. He's the best available offensive tackle in this draft. He's also happens to be the best available left tackle in this draft, and that's what you need right now. Okay, you can address right tackle later. Membo be damned. Honestly, please stop trying to take even exceptional right tackles and move them over. It's a project. It really is. And if somebody does it and they can wait it out, go right ahead. But you need somebody right now that you can draft and put in there, knock on wood, health, considering on day one as your left tackle and get through the next 5 years.
That is perhaps the best point to make here, at least in my estimation, because you have Drake Maye under your control for 5 years at the max.
Yep.
He's already got his rookie year under him.
4 left.
There's no doubt that he is your starter this year. The job is his.
Right.
In order to keep that, in order to make sure that he is your quarterback for the entire season, you got to keep him upright. You got to keep him away from opposing pass rushers as much as you possibly can. And you've got to keep him feeling secure in that pocket. And even when he rolls out, the best way to do that is to get a left tackle that's capable of playing the position right out of the box today with no questions asked. Obviously, if you're putting a rookie in there, there are rookie growing pains that every rookie is going to have. But you have to make sure that they're well suited to play the position, and all they need is tutelage to fine-tune their craft. That's not the case when you move a right tackle over to left. Murph is absolutely right. We saw it happen last year with disastrous results. That cannot happen again this year. So do whatever you need to do to secure that left tackle. But the more I'm looking at it and the more that you have enlightened us here on Locked On Patriots, starting to see that Banks would be a great pick for the New England Patriots to anchor their draft on this season. So great stuff right off the bat. And, Jason wastes no time, going into some of the subsequent needs that the Patriots have on their roster.
None.
We've talked about Jaden Higgins again, did more recon on Jaden over the weekend, watching what he is able to do at the point of the catch. And I do believe that there is enough speed for him to be able to be effective in areas where certain contested catch machines that were brought through the doors here in New England weren't able to succeed. Jaden does have a leg up on the competition there. So at 46, I think this is also a great value. Murph, the next two picks, really the next three picks, very intriguing considering that the Pats have made moves to shore up defensive tackle, their edge rush, and their safety. But when you're dealing with three depth pieces like Kenneth Grant, Jack Sawyer, and Kevin Winston, this is a great way to not only strengthen those three areas, but I think bolster. This kind of puts your defense, at least in my estimation, at a whole new level.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Let's start right at the top here with Kenneth Grant. I mean, he's a natural leverage advantage guy. He's got a small, powerful frame. He excels at resetting. It's a no-brainer. We talked ad nauseum about the lack of depth on this squad last year. Guys being asked to do too much. In what they did in free agency and then backing it up in the draft is the way to go, man. His hands are exceptional. The way he gets up and takes away passing lanes is really impressive. And he's had 3 years of high level production against the best in the business right now, and he's come out on top. And grabbing him here is without a doubt an absolute steal. Kenneth Grant is somebody at 56 I would really love. Jack Sawyer, the edge guy, he just quick off the ball, a fantastic understudy, and Kevin Winston Jr. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait until you folks go out and watch some tape of Winston, and you're going to be floored. You're really going to be floored. I'm not a huge Penn State guy. Never have been. That is an opinion that's been slowly changing over the last few years. But he's an elite run defender. Terrell Williams talked about the type of pass rushers that he enjoyed, and what they needed to bring was violence. That's what this kid brings. He's a
True.
violent individual, just a violent man when he's on the football field. I don't know him off the football field, but on the football field, that's what you get.
It's grading time, Murph, for our first mock draft all-star here on Locked On Patriots. How are you grading Sully's haul here?
Sully gets an A+. A+. And there isn't a miss in this draft, going all the way down to Jabbar Muhammad, who will definitely make this squad this year. He's not going to be practice squad fodder. They're not going to have to try to, squeeze him in anywhere and worry, because somebody's going to be worried about grabbing him up. All right. Arroyo is a fantastic piece there at 106. Look at this. And he's got, I'm going to call it 7 players inside the top 100. I'm not sure all of them are going to be there. Kevin Winston Jr. But everybody on this team will be on this team week 1. And you can't ask for more than that. And he hit on every single need. Jaden Higgins is a top 10 hideout in this draft, people. Probably,
absolutely.
Just outside the top 5.
Yeah.
And you got him at 46. That's a great haul. Somebody give Sully a call and get him into the war room. This is brilliant.
Yeah. Once again, I agree with you. This is an A+ draft. If you look at the Patriots slate right now, they're slated to make 9 picks in this draft. He turned 9 into 8. Yep. Obviously not getting a lot of present day draft capital back, but he does pick up a 2nd rounder from Atlanta in 2026. He picks up a 4th rounder from Dallas in 2026. And from my understanding, and the reason why I'm going A+ and not A here, is Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are already off the board when he is making his selection.
Yep.
He's looking at guys like Will Campbell. The quarterbacks are still up there.
Yep.
I think he makes a judgment call here to say that I can move down significantly and still pick up the guy that I want to pick up.
Right.
He does it twice, and he ends up with Kelvin Banks. This is a great pick for the New England Patriots, and to do it at 15 is phenomenal. I love what you said about Higgins. Anybody worried about his big game ability, go ahead and take a look at what he did in the Senior Bowl. This kid is capable of making plays
He's
like
the
that.
Boundary guy that we need.
Right. And he's capable of making plays like that off script if he needs to do that. So we know Drake Maye loves to go off script when he wants to make something happen. This kid can be right in sync with him. And I love the arguments that you made for Grant, for Sawyer, and for Winston.
You want a quarterback that extends plays, you have to have wide receivers that play to the whistle, and this kid plays to the whistle.
Absolutely. He truly does. And
every time.
For the New England Patriots, once again, a challenge in 2024. Under Mike Vrabel in 2025, it will not be. Sully, what can we say? A tip of the cap right off the bat. Murph, we're already batting 1,000 when it comes to our mock draft, but have we even shared the best that there is? Well, our listeners are going to have to determine that, but we're going to provide our grades in just a moment to what I am close to calling a masterpiece from our good friend Andrew Caroway. You're not going to want to miss this, folks. Stick around as Mock Draft Monday continues right here on the Locked On Patriots podcast, a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On listeners, ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL, LOCKEDON-NFL, for half off your first year. Locked On listeners, March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. I've got my eye on a few underdogs this year, and FanDuel makes it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. And the FanDuel app is so simple to use. When I win, I get paid instantly with no waiting around. So visit fanduel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. FanDuel.com. Pats fans, thank you once again for joining us here today on Locked On Patriots as we continue our battle of the Locked On Patriots Mock Draft All-Stars. And of course, if it's Mock Draft Monday, who else would join me here on the airwaves of Locked On Patriots but my good friend and the new monster of Mock Draft Monday, my good friend, the legendary Thomas Murphy. In the previous segment, we shared a mock draft submitted by Jason Sullivan, one of our most valued everydayers. You mentioned going into this about our everydayers putting a solid amount of work into this, and Jason takes it seriously, and so does our next submitter here. And it took us a while to get this man up here on the Cadillac board, Murph, for Mock Draft Monday in 2025, but his submission is truly worth it. Our good friend, Andrew Caroway.
Yep.
And here we go, Murph. Right off the bat, Kelvin Banks Jr. coming to the New England Patriots at number 12. So we're already, again, going into that type of vein that Jason Sullivan just took us through. Patriots trading down, getting the guy that they want at left tackle. And again, Murph has made the argument so well. I don't know if he can make it again, but you know what? We're going to give him an opportunity to do it in just a moment. At number 38, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. This is the SEC vertical threat that I talked about to open the show today.
Wow.
And that is one Trey Harris.
Yeah.
Murph, I'm really liking this pick, and I'll tell you why I'm liking it in just a moment. But once again, for the benefit of our valued listeners that are not watching on YouTube, at number 46, the Patriots bring in guard Tate Ratledge. And we've talked about Tate a little bit here on Locked On before. You knew Caroway was going to throw in a Georgia Bulldog, but he's thrown in a great one.
Should have thrown in more.
Yeah, exactly. This is not a vanity pick, folks. Tate Ratledge is for real, and the Patriots would be a better team for it to be able to suit him up in 2025. Linebacker Barrett Carter out of Clemson comes to the Pats at number 75. Defensive tackle out of Texas, Alfred Collins at number 77. The hometown hero, the guy everyone wants to sign up. I would love it as a depth pick. I'm not sure he's there at 101, but I love the ingenuity. Boston College's Ozzie Trapilo. 106, the safety out of Alabama, Malachi Moore, a pick I continue to like more and more every time our everydayers put him in a mock draft. And every time I keep looking at it, keep thinking this kid could really bolster that safety room. Number 144, tight end Mitchell Evans out of Notre Dame. Hi, Claire. Number 147, Seth McLaughlin, the center out of Ohio State. At number 217, edge rusher out of Alabama, Quay Robinson. And then the final two picks that Andrew makes at number 220, running back out of USC, Jokavius Marks. And at number 238, Jason Marshall Jr., the cornerback out of Florida. And as you can see, picked up a couple of pieces of draft capital for next season with the Dallas Cowboys and a 7th rounder in 2026 from the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to give the floor to you, my friend. Your thoughts on this draft and what Andrew was able to come away with and how it's going to help the 2025 New England Patriots.
Well, first of all, vote Caroway 2028. Whoever put this mock draft together, I want running my country. Honestly. I'm not kidding. This is brilliance up and down the board. The way he moved up and down the board to get Banks at 12. We just talked about it earlier. At 15 was a steal. It's still a steal here at 12. It's a good pick at 4 or 6 or 8 at 12. And then coming back with Trey Harris. Okay, let's talk about Trey Harris for a second, man.
Let's do it.
One of the best boundary receivers in this draft. 5.5 YPRR is off the chart. Okay. The only reason we're not talking more about Trey Harris is that he only was able to play 8 games last year due to a lower body injury. And he still put up 60 1,030 yards and 7 touchdowns, averaging 128 yards per game. You know, that it's unbelievable what he was able to do in a short amount of time. If you play off this kid because what he can do and worried about running past you, he's going to get something across the middle and then burn you with yak later on. If you play him tough man to man, bump and run, he's just going to blow past you and make you look stupid. All right. Opposing defenses threw a ton of press coverage at Harris last year. Excuse me, knowing that he was the first read. Okay, he's the first read on every snap that he's on the table for, and these guys almost like to get the ball out quick. You know, something else that we know is going to be utilized a great deal this year with Josh McDaniels coming back. And it's unbelievable what he's able to do. He's so twitchy fast. He creates separation, and if he can't, for some reason, he runs into coverage, he wins that catch anyway. All right, this is a fantastic pick. This is a beautiful pick, and it's just brilliance. Tate Ratledge, we all know about Tate Ratledge. Yes, fix the entire left side of this line for the next 5 to 10 years in one draft. It can be done. And Caroway has done it here.
I think he's definitely done it here and then some, and for reasons that you've already described. I mean, Banks coming in at number 12, that's phenomenal value. That gives you the opportunity now to set the rest of your draft towards upgrading the Patriots' skill positions and really strengthening the trenches. And that, I think, is where New England at least should be looking. I know you mentioned Harris and you mentioned how much you love this pick. I've really grown into it. I'll be very honest. When Andrew submitted this draft to us last week, the first thing that I did was I looked at Trey Harris and I said, a lot of the draft pundits out there had this guy going in the 3rd round. And I bought into it originally. The skill this kid brings on the perimeter, like you said, he is a tremendous boundary receiver and he'll blow past you.
He's Allen Robinson, dude.
Absolutely. He will stretch the field without any question. The one thing that I worried about in some of the scouting reports that I read on him was the difficulty that he had with some of those hard angle routes, some of those hard angle cuts. And that is a staple of a Josh McDaniels offense. So you look at it and you say, okay, well, is this really going to be the best fit? Then I started to do a little more recon on him. I started to watch him in game settings. I started to watch him away from the ball. If there is an area of his game that needs work, I can't argue. This is it. But you're going into a spot with one of the best offensive minds that has coached players to these hard angle routes and coached them up into being phenomenal threats all over the field, and that's Josh McDaniels. If this kid comes in plug and play today, I think this kid can overwhelmingly be one of your best Z options. I think he can play the X ideally, and if you need him to, adapt into so many different roles, he has the ability to do it. His size to me and his speed is really what puts this over the top. If you're looking for a field stretcher, folks, someone that can illuminate this offense and give Drake Maye that deep threat, Trey Harris is the guy that can do it. And if he can hone in the skills to really use the short area of the field to his advantage, look out. This kid has got star-level receiver written all over him. I really like this pick.
Yeah, so do I. It's a fantastic grab. This kid has more than one club in his bag. All right. Mike just talked about his ability to make dramatic. He uses a lot of different aspects of his body and of his skills to manufacture separation. Okay,
Right.
It doesn't have to come in right there. If this doesn't work, he'll do something else throughout there. He'll slow down and then speed back up during the route. You don't see a lot of young wide receivers do this in a way that is successful, and he is. He's really successful with this. I mean, this kid is fantastic. He's really. This is an amazing pick. I'm almost stumbling over my own words here. But I want to talk for just a second about Alfred Collins.
Please
All
do.
right, the defensive tackle out of Texas, man. Collins is a huge, massive man, 6'6", 332 pounds. You could put another 10 pounds of muscle on him, and he's just going to be unstoppable. His strength at the point of attack is not found in everybody that's in this draft. He maintains his gap integrity. I talk about it weekly. Gap integrity. This kid should just have gap integrity tattooed across his forehead. All right. He knows his job. He knows his lane, and he stays in it. He has exceptional length. He shows impressive patience as a two gap defender. Let's see how he's going to fit in here. And timing. All right. I watched this kid's tape, and I watched him bat down every pass that tried to get thrown past him. All right. Every single pass. He's got his hand up and he's got a finger on it. All right, at least a finger, if not a forearm, because he's that long. This is another phenomenal pick, and I don't want to overlook that. Our buddy Ozzie Trapillo, sure, right there in 101. Junior, Caroway just wants to rub it in my face and draft a right tackle. Ozzie, it'd be a great pick. Malachi Moore. I love me some Malachi Crunch, and that's what we get there at 106. And Mitchell Evans is a fine tight end that could definitely come in. He's not in my top 5, but look where we're picking here. We had an A+ to start. I've got to go A++ here. Take this home. I'm going to print this out and put it on my refrigerator.
Yeah, I'm once again going A+ here as well, Murph. And then it's tough to argue with the results. I mean, not only with the talent that Andrew was bringing back, but also the way he utilized the draft board. Brilliant when it comes to using drafts to enhance what you need in 2025 and also fill your draft cart for 2026. And he did it with realistic moves. I get it. A lot of times these draft simulators give you scenarios that are a little beyond the stretch of reality, but he's done it and he's worked it extremely well here. Again, Banks, Harris is a pick that really, I think, puts this over the top for me.
Yep.
Barrett Carter, the linebacker out of Clemson. Patriots, I think, could definitely use his services to the best of their ability. Malachi Moore, I think, is a sneaky good pick for the Patriots here. Again, what it comes down to is versatility. He's listed as a strong, but he plays so well in coverage. I think much better a coverage player than he is against the run. He's got the frame to be able to do it. Very good field awareness, and he can track the ball. And I think that's something that the Patriots could definitely use more of in the secondary this year. Jalen Hawkins coming in. Marcus Epps is coming in. It's a crowded room. But I think Malachi Moore can come in and absolutely compete for a spot. And, who knows? Stranger things have happened. Sometimes the rookies outplay the vets in these situations. So anything is wide open for the New England Patriots right now. But one thing I think we can agree on is Andrew Caroway has put forth another draft that, Murph, dare we say, hang in the Locked On Patriots Louvre here.
Right.
And Murph, we've had 2 great submissions already when it comes to Jason Sullivan, Andrew Caroway. Why are we not? We shouldn't be surprised by this. They are our Locked On All-Stars. But our last submission today, I don't know if we saved the best for last or the most intriguing for last. I'm going to leave it to your great estimation and the estimation of all of our great everydayers out there who tune in each and every week to catch Mock Draft Monday. Our buddy LJ, the legend himself, the man they call the show, is about to contribute big time to this show right here on Locked On Patriots. Like his predecessors, LJ is going left tackle, but he's going in a much different direction. He's going all the way down to the bottom of the draft to do it. We're going to discuss LJ's haul in just a moment when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast wraps up right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Patriots fans, thank you once again for joining us here today on Locked On Patriots. It is Mock Draft Monday. We are joined by the monster of Mock Draft Monday himself, my good friend, the legendary Thomas Murphy, and it is Battle of the Locked On Patriots Mock Draft All-Stars. And Murph, so far, 2 amazing mock drafts submitted by 2 of our most valued everydayers, Jason Sullivan, Andrew Caroway, A+ across the board so far, folks. But the one that we've saved for last is from the man they call the show, at @show_1 on Twitter. That is our good friend LJ Murph. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to dive right into what LJ had to bring us. And here it is. He has taken the number 4 overall pick, trade it down, lands at number 24, and he takes offensive tackle Josh Simmons of Ohio State. We're going to come back to the remaining haul in just a moment because this is a big move, Murph. To quote the late, great Gorilla Monsoon, it took a lot of intestinal fortitude to do what LJ did here to land at Josh Simmons. Murph, you've sung the praises of Josh Simmons here on these airwaves several times, calling him one of the most talented tackles in this draft. Looking at what LJ did here to trade down to arrive at number 24, first of all, what do you think of the guts it took for LJ to do that? And him landing Josh Simmons at number 24, does it maximize the value that the Patriots may have lost in the number 4 overall pick to get a talent of Simmons in the first round like this?
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm going to be surprised if Josh Simmons is there at this pick. I really am. That's how good he is. The only reason that he's not talked about in the top 10 picks, top 5 picks is the injury that he dealt with last year. But Josh Simmons has everything that you want in an NFL left tackle. Exceptional lateral ability, a devastating punch at the point of attack. He has started and played well at both tackle spots against quality competition, but this man is a left tackle. Backing this pickup right there with Trey Harris. We often talk about the best ability being availability. Okay, Trey Harris started 38 straight games.
Right.
38 straight games. This
Absolutely.
is a nasty finisher. This is a man that you want to run behind. We talked before about right left tackle ability. This kid could come in and be a swing tackle for you right now. All right, never mind sitting and possibly understudying for that right side. It's a fantastic. He's a great pick, man. He's got some timing issues that can be cleaned up. Delayed stunts can mess with his head a little bit, but this is a fantastic pick. And then he comes back at 49 with Harold Fanning Jr., easily one of my top 5 tight ends. We love Princely U. Prince U is just a fantastic pick. And then we get Jared Wilson again from Georgia. All right, let's just fix all the problems again.
Right. Exactly. And when you're bringing in Jared Wilson, especially at number 69 here, which he has done, I think, and you're playing the board exactly as it lies. And I want to come back to Fannin Jr. for just a moment because Harold Fannin is an intriguing prospect for a lot of reasons when it comes to tight endage. Simply because this kid plays like a receiver. And we know LJ has been clamoring for a pass catcher here in New England for so long. He's been paying his dues, and he's been really, really wanting this. It surprised me when I first looked at this draft that he didn't draft a receiver high enough up. And then I realized that he kind of did here in Harold Fannin, someone that has the ability to beat his prey downfield. This kid, again, is someone who can vertically stretch the field at the tight end position. You're winning a lot when it comes to that. He's not going to give you much in the blocking game. That's not his style. No. Think more Travis Kelce than Rob Gronkowski in this one.
Right.
But if the Patriots bring him in purely for that standpoint, this kid can excel as a receiving tight end in this league.
That's it. Without a doubt. Jalen Royals, we talk about a wide receiver, an absolute steal there. He's inside my top 10 for wide receivers this year. He's sleek. Acceleration is just off the charts. He's a strong route runner. His ability to separate is in the intermediate area and run after the catch, forces defenders to play up on him, but he's so good deep that he's going to end up burning everybody. Royals could easily have a better release package, but he's been getting by on his athleticism so much. I think that's a steal pick right there. And then he backed up that with Savion Williams.
Yeah, and again, Savion dropping a little bit here, some off-the-field issues, some on-field fit concerns, but when this kid's dialed in, the action that he's performing on the field, he can be an effective weapon.
Yeah.
So again, at number 97, is it worth the risk? I believe absolutely. Maybe he even is. Maybe he's even worth the risk at a little bit more of a draft
Yeah.
capital, maybe a little bit earlier. Patriots are going to have to determine what that. They're going to have to determine their ceiling. A couple of years ago, they decided that Kayshon Boutte was worth an opportunity.
Right.
He's coming in and is actually right now one of your top options, the way this wide receiver crew is currently constituted. So let's see what the Patriots view.
I know we talk about the character guys to bring in or something, but I mean this kid at this pick, you roll those dice, and like I said, he's Cordero Patterson. More than half the time this kid is either lining up in the slot or in the backfield, and he plays out wide. He's that Swiss Army knife on offense that so many NFL teams need, and I like the roll of the dice that LJ made right here in backing up and going double dipping at wide receiver.
Absolutely, and anytime you can anchor your draft and finish it off with number 220, Trevor Etienne, the running back out of Georgia, who is one of Murph's big-time draft crushes, you're doing some special things. So once again, Murph, I think a very gutsy, but also
was balls.
Yeah, this was definitely a gutsy draft, but I also do believe that LJ put an awful lot of work, an awful lot of thought. This made, once you dissect it and you get over the initial shock of seeing the Patriots go from 4 to 24, you look at what he did with the haul here, and you see the work and the ingenuity that went into this. I was impressed by what LJ did here.
Right. Without a doubt. This was brilliant work on his part in moving around the draft, picking up an extra second rounder from Cincinnati next year. And of course, what he was able to do early and late. Jordan Phillips, the defensive tackle out of Maryland, Luke Kendra, that he's going to be a good depth piece right out there outside the top 100. He could even push for time at left guard, I believe. But Ursery and Simmons, that it's just that's bases loaded, 2 outs, and LJ hit a home run at 24 and 38. Wow.
In that vein, Murph, it is grading time for our good buddy, the show. What say you when it comes to giving a grade to LJ's haul for this week on Locked On Patriots?
This is an A. I'm not giving it an A+ because LJ made me wait until 24. No, sorry, bud. You kept me up all night. See, the point being is, if he had taken Josh Simmons at 15 or at 12, I still would have been happy. I still would have been thrilled, but he got him at 24, and that's just brilliant. I don't think he's going to end up being there at 24. I don't know if Ursery is going to be there at 38, but you draft the board that you're given. LJ killed it. All right, this is I say A. It's an A+ draft. We all know it's an A+ draft. Go ahead and convince me otherwise.
Well, I am willing to go the gamut here. I am going to give him an A+ on this draft, simply because he saw the board the way it was going, and he understood that if he stood the course and understood the way other teams were drafting, that his prey would be there at number 24. And from LJ, and LJ is very vocal about this. He's not the type of everydayer that keeps things close to the vest. If he's got an idea, he's going to share it. And he's been talking about Simmons and trying to trade down to get Simmons, or him being the first rounder that the Patriots need. I really like what he did here, because he stood his ground and he said, you know what? He's the guy I want. And I believe that by moving to 24, I'm still going to be able to get him. In the real world, I agree with you. I think this move needs to be made at 12, 15 maybe. I don't see him lasting into the 20s, simply because the upside is too great for a lot of tackle-hungry teams to lay off of, and there are tons of them in the NFL.
Right.
A lot of holes still need to be filled in New England. Our 3 everydayers have done an amazing job, at least in my estimation, of filling those holes and complementing the current roster that the Patriots have as we speak at One Patriots Place in Foxborough. Pats fans, it's always an honor when Murph joins me here on Locked On Patriots. Time ran a little thin, and our monster master of disaster had to exit very quickly, but we thank him for all of his wisdom, his counsel, his wit, his grit, and for being my battery mate here on Locked On Patriots each and every mock draft Monday. Of course, a major tip of the cap to all of our submitters here today, all of our mock draft all-stars, Jason Sullivan, Andrew Caroway, LJ, we appreciate your contributions and thank you for the great mock drafts that you submitted here to make Mock Draft Monday possible. But most importantly, and the biggest tip of the cap goes to all of you Foxborough faithful out there, all of you Locked On Patriots everydayers that continue to make Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage. In the meantime, on behalf of my good friend Thomas Murphy, I'm Mike Debate, reminding all of you to stay safe, to stay well, to be the change that you wish to see in the world. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow on Locked On Patriots.